I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Oh, here at Online Big Blue, we are never out of bubblegum. Well, actually, we are out of bubblegum because we always kick ass. This is Tim, the York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to talk about how the dominoes are falling. How after this news about the Andrew Thomas restructure just came down, how we've been predicting this for a while. We predicted that the Dexter Lawrence contract would be the first one to fall. Then you're going to have the Andrew Thomas restructure. Then you're going to have the Daniel Jones restructure. And that's bad news because you're going to be pushing that money from Daniel Jones because it's going to have to be a big chunk of cash. I assume another maybe $8 million is going to be kicked the can down the road into 2025. So you're going to have to sit there with probably about $30 million in dead cap number for Daniel Jones. I just want to play this real quick about Stephen A. Smith. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can't find it.
It was kind of embarrassing, fellas, how Brian Dable tried to paint it. Well, you know, as the game progressed, he got better. Well, guess what? You know, it's a preseason game, all right? If it's a regular season game and you threw those picks, you'd be out of commission. You'd lose the game. And so you look at Daniel Jones. I mean, we have to take into account the totality of his situation. Saquon Barkley didn't get his money because they gave it to Daniel Jones. They invested in Daniel Jones instead of investing in their best player. We understand he plays the quarterback position. It comes with a different responsibility. It's the most important position on the field, some would say. And as a result, that's why they did it. But nevertheless, it is what it is. Last year, the New York Giants offense ranked 29th. They ranked 30th in points, 30th in third downs, 31st in red zone touchdown efficiency. They are awful. The only thing we're going to be talking about with Brian Dable's New York Giants this year is the fact that he looks good because he lost so much damn weight. That's about it. There's nothing to write at home about the New York Giants. They are just not going to be impressive. Since picking Daniel Jones, 6th overall in 2019, the Giants are tied for the 4th worst record in the National Football League, winning just 35% of their games with one playoff appearance in 5 years.
Now, I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty bad.
Well, that does sound pretty bad. And that's, of course, that's Stephen A. Smith talking about Daniel Jones, talking about the contract is a bad contract. Everyone's trying to say it's a bargain deal now. You still have him eating up over almost a little over 18% of your cap. Andrew Thomas before the restructure was about 9% of your cap. That was the next player. The next player after that is Brian Burns at 6%. So almost 19% of your salary cap is going towards Daniel Jones. It's a $47 million cap hit on a $69 million dead cap number, $35 million base, $9 million signing bonus. And we're going to do a little cap 101 here today because I'm sick of the misinformation. I'm sick of the misguidedness. I'm sick of it. I am. I just am. The Giants with this restructure do not have all this plethora of money. I see people now go, now we have like $11 million in cap space. Yeah, you do with the rule of 51. There are many nuances to the salary cap. We have gone over it a million times ad nauseum, and you can tell me all you want that I'm wrong about certain things. You can tell me all you want that I'm wrong about certain players. You can tell me all you want I'm a flip-flopper, which I think is the funniest thing because so many people tell me I'm so rigidly inflexible that I never change my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. That's why that was what to refer to as morons. But there are so many different nuances to the salary cap. And we've talked about the rule of 51, I don't know how many freaking times. The rule of 51 is during training camp, the top 51 contracts are the only contracts that count on the books. Okay, and I'm going to say that slowly. Those are the only contracts that count on the books, is those 51 contracts. So once training camp breaks, you gain the additional contracts, but you also have to remember there's other nuances of the salary cap out there. It's not just a rule of 51. You have to remember that the Giants will have to also look at the fact that we are going to have a dead cap number of 22 million plus. Everyone wanted to get rid of
King of the almost sack.
Or didn't want to get rid of him, but he moved on to Seattle. But I was the only one that sat there and said he's going to have almost an $11 million dead cap number next year. We got an almost $3 million dead cap number for Dory. We got a 2.5 for Waller. We got 2 for Ashawn. We got 2 for 1.5 from Glowinski. We still have Tyrod Taylor in the books for a $1.4 million. You got rid of Jordan Phillips, but you still had a $500,000 cap number. You got rid of Jalen Mills, but you still had a $500,000 cap number. You got a dead cap number still for Aaron Robinson, Steve Smith, Brightwell, Darius Williams. You have so many different dead cap numbers. It's not even funny. It's accumulation of about $22 million. That's potentially could be 2 players. And then once you also factor in your dead cap number, you have to remember some of your other little things. You have to count your injured reserve, what the Giants have ranked now, about $2.6 million. You have to look at the exempt list. I think the Giants have about 800,000 right now on that. So by the time you break in your dead cap number, your injury reserve, your exempt list, I believe there's also the commissioner's list, and there's 2 other things in there. I don't remember exactly I can't remember off the top of my head what those numbers exactly are. But you factor in all those. And at that point in time, you have a total cap allocation of around anywhere between, depending on who makes the team, 250, or not 250, 208, let's say 285 million to maybe 289. Really depends on who makes the team. So you could have a dead cap number anywhere between, I would say, negative 26 million to almost $30 million in dead cap space, and excuse me, as your cap number, as your negative cap number. So you will be when the rule of 51 breaks, when camp breaks, when everything goes in, you factor everything. The Giants before this restructure could be anywhere between negative 26 to $29 million in cap space, which right now I believe ranks currently 31st in the league. So the Andrew Thomas contract I've been saying for all this time was going to be the first domino to fall. The next domino to fall is going to be the Daniel Jones deal. You are going to have to convert some of his salary into a signing bonus, which is going to guarantee it. You're going to have to do what they did last year and kick the proverbial can down the road. But the last time we sent money down the road was about $5 million. I think you're going to probably have to send about $8 million this time. So you're probably going to have a $30 million dead cap number for Daniel Jones in 2025. So he's not fucking going anywhere. And even if he's waived, he's still not going anywhere because you're going to have a $30 million dead cap hit because of the Daniel Jones contract. I have been saying this since the day the contract was signed. And everyone told me, well, it's a brilliant deal. No, the Howie deal for Hurts was a brilliant deal. He doesn't count. I think Jalen's contract doesn't count for 44 or 45 million until 2027, and none of that's guaranteed. Daniel Jones, I kept telling people, they're like, well, there's an out in 2025. I said, no, if you watch the progression of the cap and you watch the math dictates and tells you are going to have to move that money down the road repeatedly. And I've been saying this for 2 years. Well, the chickens have come home to roost because the Thomas contract's going to have to be done. You're probably going to have to go to hat in hand with Brian Burns a little bit. You may have to touch the Bobby Okereke contract. You're definitely going to have to restructure Graham Gano. You probably are going to be looking on getting rid of some of your wide receivers because if you get rid of about like Isaiah McKenzie and a few other guys, depending on injuries, you can still save about $3 million. So there are plenty of ways you can get under this cap number. And do not forget, Joe Shane likes to have $10 million in the term he stole from me, operational cap space. So that negative 26 to 29 million is really negative 36 to 39 million. Think about that. You can do this, but you're going to have to move money into the 2025 cap. And I love it because everyone goes, well, I don't care about the 2025 cap because I got to worry about now. Well, I'm sorry. You already have $5 million in dead cap space next year. You only right now with your active players have about $33 million in cap space next year. So the more you keep kicking that money down the road, the more you are going to be in pain. And I kept trying to explain to people, even when Waller retired, you are still going to owe Waller some money. And nobody ever wants to listen to me. Nobody ever wants to listen to me. I will tell you this. If you don't want to listen to me on my player assessment or my Daniel Jones assessment or anything else, you have to listen to me on the salary cap because I've never been wrong. I've had people tell me, you know what, I can argue with you on everything under the sun about the New York Giants, but I can never argue with you about the salary cap. Because math is math. I did not fucking invent math. It's basic math. I predicted the cap fall years ago, even after the Kenny G signing. I predicted the cap fall when it was going to happen. I predicted that in Judge's last season, we were going to run out of money and not be able to field the 53-man roster the last 2 games because we didn't have salary cap space. I predicted that the Leonard Williams trade was going to be basically to sign a quarterback because there was not enough cap space to field 53 men across. And I predicted that well before even the trade. And it's not that I'm Nostradamus. I can add. And I have this cool little spreadsheet that I just put everything in. I got little formulas in there, a couple pivot tables, and I just adjust it when I can. I haven't been doing as much as I probably should be doing it, but I adjust it when I can. And it shows me that we are going to be negative, I would say negative 26 to 28 million before we just did this restructure. And I believe right now it's 31st or 32nd in the league in reference to cap space. This is what happens with bad teams. They're cap heavy and they overpay. You are cap heavy right now because you have 5 guys. You literally have 5 guys right now that are taking up almost 40% of your cap. In Jones, Burns, Lawrence, Thomas, and Okereke. Now, this is before the restructure. And you still have a cap number of $11 million for John Runyon. John Runyon better all of a sudden turn into his dad. Because that is a big player, big number for a player that Green Bay said and did. They rotated him with a rookie last year and rotated him in the playoffs with a rookie because they knew they were getting rid of him. Because they knew he wasn't worth the money. And one of the nicest things they could say with him is don't pull him as a guard because he trips over his own feet. You have maturing contracts. I kept saying this. You have maturing contracts of Thibodeau and Neal that are coming up as well. You have to think about these things, guys. You have to think about these things. And I'm not sure the Giants are thinking about these things at times. I never understood why they did the restructure of the Lawrence and the Thomas deal so close together. I could never figure that one out. Still can't figure that one out to this day. And one of the biggest things that I worry about right now is you have to remember, I think Bobby Okereke was a great sign. I think he's been a great player for this one season, but he's almost 30 years old. How long are you going to carry a $12 million? If you think you're going to be a bad team, how long are you going to carry a $12 million cap hit on a 30-year-old linebacker? So you better think you're winning now. But if you thought you were winning now, you probably wouldn't have got rid of Saquon or Xavier. Think about this, guys. We don't have all this cap space. Rule of 51, you have cap space. After the rule of 51, after all of a sudden the dead cap number rolls in, after all these little things that happen, there's going to be cap adjustments. So your total cap hit, I'm trying to find my spreadsheet here. Your total cap hit, I believe the total cap hit, my numbers could be anywhere between $285 million to $289 million, which would be anywhere between negative 25 to negative 29 million in cap space when the camp breaks, not counting the rule of 51, because that counts your dead money, your injury reserve, your commissioner's list, I think the exemption list, your active roster bonuses. That also includes the adjustment for the salary cap rollover. You also have a cap adjustment on that as well. And you look at those numbers, and this is what it's going to show you. So stop saying, if we had all this money, we would have signed a CB2 already. Stephon Gilmore went for $10 million just recently. Think, people. Think. Please. It'll make my life a hell of a lot fucking easier. We might have a live stream about this today on Tuesday. I haven't decided yet. We might have to have a Cap 101 live stream. Just another manic, whatever day it is. And again, this is Timothy Art, Giant Strike Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'll be awesome.